Hey, y'all, listen. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in the building. We keeping tonight's trending topics real simple. I don't know if y'all had the opportunity. It's about 30 minutes. As you come in the building, make sure you hit that like button. I don't know if y'all had the opportunity to see Jay-Z's lawyer entire presentation. He did a presentation. His press conference was a presentation. He ain't playing. Let me tell you something. Diddy lawyers are playing games. Diddy needed a law firm like this, Quinn Emanuel. Because right away, they broke down step by step, piece by piece, how that Jane Doe that is accusing Jay-Z of violating her is a whole lie. He had a presentation. He didn't just come out with words out his mouth. He didn't just sling them left, right. He had a whole presentation. He gave timelines, photos, saying that she didn't get it right and neither did her lawyer. And that the lawyer tried to shake Jay-Z down, but he wasn't having it. When Jay-Z said not one red penny, he meant it. Yes, he did. He meant that lawyer is not going to get a dime for him for his client. Yeah, come on, LaTanya. Yes, he did, and very professionally done. Yes, he did. So we're going to listen to it together today. We're going to dissect it. We're going to break it down, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to give y'all my thoughts on the situation. Because many might be wondering, like, why didn't the courts already dismiss this case? Because it's a hot mess, to say the least. But I'm going to tell you what I think. And these are just diva thoughts. I should, once a week, I should do a little a video just saying diva thoughts. These are just diva thoughts right now. My thought is the court is struggling to dismiss this, even though it's apologized, because when they do, there goes Buzbee cases against Diddy. When you as the lawyer turn out to be a whole fraud and a lie, and like Diddy's lawyer's been saying from the beginning, it's a money grab. But it's a nasty money grab that is destroying people's names. Now, I did not know, because it seemed like everyone was standing by Jay-Z and Beyonce. But I did not know. The lawyer said, no, their reputation has been tarnished. And there are brands that are backing away from them. Now, it hasn't been a mass exodus like what happened to Diddy. Every time we went to sleep and woke up, they was like, we cutting ties with Diddy. Give us back the key to the city. Every city that ever gave Diddy a key, they was like, send it back. How embarrassing. Not telling your kids, go get that key out my office and call UPS and put it in a box, and we got to send it back to New York and give the one back to Miami. All of those, what do they call those honorary degrees? Get the degrees off the wall. They want them back. Pack it up. We got to send it back to UPS, back to the schools. Child, I think if Diddy had a Hollywood Walk of Fame, a star down there, they would have went with the chisels and took it up and threw it in the trash. No, they did Diddy dirty, okay? They did Diddy dirty. But you know what? Shame on his lawyers for not doing a PowerPoint presentation like Quinn Emanuel, like Alex Spiro, and saying this can't be true. Instead of just saying it's a money grab, saying this can't be true because of Honey, that girl sat there, but like the lawyer said, she was used. But you know what, though? You can't be used unless you allow somebody to use you. You have to allow somebody to use you, because there was other people that came past Tony Buzbee path and said, no, I ain't gonna lie. Remember Thalia Graves? She wanted a Big Joe, the security guard, to lie on Diddy. Getting a bunch of liars out here. And again, I go back to, even though I know I get beat up for this, and that's fine, I go back to, if their case was so airtight, they wouldn't need all these people coming up with the lies. Lies on top of lies. And many people was 10 tones down. J Lo is celebrity B. Well, listen, Alex just helped Diddy, J Lo, and Jay-Z, his client, indirectly, because he said J Lo gonna change outfits that night, and she was here, and they got pictures there. And how could they have been at this big white child? We gonna watch it. We gonna watch it. See, so Jay-Z is very fortunate. His good money that's going to these lawyers, bravo, because they doing the job. They doing the job. Diddy's lawyer was on TMZ talking about, who needs 1,000 bottles of baby oil? You fool, your client was accused of having 1,000 bottles. Why are you on TMZ making a joke about it? So you on TMZ, you trying to be lawyer famous, and Alex over there told the people, we doing an all-nighter. You look at the internet. You look at YouTube, see what you can find. You go back to all the old publications from 2000. You find out if a Jumbotron even existed at the 2000 whatever award show she claimed she was at. That's how law firms supposed to work. The Diddy lawyer worried about being lawyer famous. And Alex in his office with his paralegals, his assistants, the interns, and saying, I'm about to show y'all how to get this done. Let's get to work. Did a PowerPoint presentation and came with the facts. And listen, if Tony Buzbee thinks that this is going to be a simple apology and this thing is going to go away, every word at the end of everything I hear Jay-Z and his lawyer say, Tony will be dealt with. Tony, somebody find out, somebody Google for me, how long has Tony been in practice? You a whole fool when you went to graduated high school, went to undergrad, went to law school, passed the bar, and you want to make a simple mistake. Because the mistake that Tony made, Alex said this is law 101. Not even high-level law. He said law 101 is you vet your client, and he said vetting takes weeks. Not 2 days. Not 2 days. He said weeks. So Tony, because Diddy is the weakest link right now. Somebody could come up with the most outrageous, outlandish story about Diddy, and one thing I'm gonna tell you for sure, the black people gonna be like, he's a monster, set him on fire, leave him in jail for life. They ain't gonna ask no questions. So Diddy right now is the weakest link. So Tony Buzbee, because he knew the public couldn't stand Diddy, he was able to tell any story about Diddy, and the people ran with it. He came out and said that he violated a 13-year-old. People was like, oh my goodness. He claimed the youngest client was 9, and he still has not shown us this 9-year-old. If I was in Texas, I'd knock on Tony's door. Where's the 9-year-old? Where are they? But he knew he could get away with it because he knew the temperature in the room was that no matter what I say about Diddy, the people gonna believe it. So then he thought, I guess he thought all black people were like, well, shame on him. He messed around and he found out. So he figured, oh, they hate Diddy. They gonna hate Jay-Z too. Well, he messed with the wrong one. Mm-hmm. When Jay-Z said not one red penny, that means war. He said you won't get not one red penny. Jay-Z, in my mind, is the type that he will empty out that bank account for that lawyer first before he give in to the likes of a Tony Buzbee. But see, shame on Tony. He thought black, they all like whatever. They don't like Diddy, they not gonna like Jay-Z. And he thought Jay-Z was going to be too embarrassed to fight back. But Jay-Z said, not the day, not me, I'm not the one. And that's why Jay-Z said, if you got a client who was violated in this way, he said you should bring up criminal charges. Now, where Buzbee? Does anybody hear him buzzing around? Where he be? Where is he? Because when it was Diddy, he would come back right the next day. He was dropping stuff every Sunday. He said he had 120 clients. Where are they at? Think we only up to number 20, 25. Where the rest? But see, the judge is in a peculiar situation. Because when this case gets dropped against Tony, if they drop it, it's going to have a domino effect. Tony mucked up the situation. Yes, he did. But see, you know what? There's this show, I want to say it's called American Greed. American Greed. Now, Tony Buzbee is worth, allegedly, listen, even if we say Tony Buzbee is worth $40 million, that's not chump change. But you see, when people just greedy, they lose their mind. I don't know if y'all remember, if you suffer from allergies, you would know what I'm talking about. Maybe the pharmaceutical guy who just trumped up the charges for an EpiPen. So if you have severe allergies, normally your doctor will prescribe an EpiPen for you. I have I don't know, I think it may have been like 5-10 years ago. And this guy, he did jail time. He might still be in jail. He upped the price of the EpiPen, I think, by 1,000% or something crazy like that, to the point where people couldn't even get them, couldn't afford them. And if you have an EpiPen and you have an episode, you could die. So I went from having the brand EpiPen when he did this to I had no choice but to get the generic one. Because the brand one was something like $500. It was some crazy amount of money. But that man, before he upped the price of the EpiPen, he was worth a ton of money. But he got greedy. I mean, after a while, how many vacations, private jets, luxury cars, luxury outings can you have? That's why I tell everybody over here all the time, be okay with if you live in what would you call that? A studio apartment. Be okay, whatever you have, be okay with it. I'm not saying don't want more, don't try to manifest more, don't dream about more. But what I am saying is don't lose your integrity and your soul for $1. I will not. No. I told y'all, I already know. Never been there, don't want to go. I will not do well in jail. There are some environments you don't know till you get there how you're going to do. I already know. I'm claiming it. I will not do well in jail. So therefore, I ain't about to do nothing crazy so they clink me up. No, I'm in the halfway mark of my life. And I want to spend the rest of my life breathing, eating, showering when I want to, waking up when I want to. Not you got to get up a certain time and make your bed and eat what they serve you. No. And be in horrible conditions. And then they claim the mattress be all thin. Why do they do that? That's terrible. I need my pillows, my blankets. I need my pillow top mattress. I like to change my sheets every week on Friday or Saturday. I change my sheets. Smell the goodness in the clean sheets and have me a good night's rest. No, I will not. And I'm not waiting on nobody to put money on my book so I can get some oodles and noodles. But listen, y'all, I done talked enough. We got to get into this because we're going to listen to this press conference and break it down. So I need to bring the people in the child. Come on now. Come on. We got to be comfortable. I ain't breaking nobody law. Thank you, Tay-Tay. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we about to watch together this press conference and breaking down. I'm going to go right ahead and bring the people on in the building so we can have a watch party. Okay, y'all, let's do this. Hey, Tay-Tay.
Hello.
Hey, Felicia. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Leo. Hey, Julius. Hey, Wayne. All right, y'all. About 30
Hit
minutes.
the like button.
Thank you. Thank you, Julius. Hit the like button, people. It's about 30 minutes. We're going to watch the whole thing. Then we're going to talk about it and break it down. If you need a lawyer for anything, I don't care what the situation is. Let me say this. With your coins, get the best lawyer that you can, because when you go to court, you got one chance and one chance only. Get the best lawyer that your coins can get you. Yes. Now, I did get a ticket one time going to a mall. Now, I thought it was unfair, but it didn't matter because it was a moving violation. I had to go to court. So when you go to night court or you go to any court when it has to do with a traffic violation, there are a whole bunch of lawyers. I don't know if they are lawyers that just graduate. I really don't know, but there's a whole bunch of lawyers there. And when you walk in, they're like, you need a lawyer, you need a lawyer. I'm like, no, I need no lawyer. I ain't paying y'all. This is a little ticket. I'm going to be good. Honey, I watched 3 people for traffic tickets go before that judge. And I walked right back out in that hallway. I said, excuse me, sir, I'll use a lawyer. How much? How much I got to give you? I sure did, because that lawyer wasn't going to rip me down. That judge. Yes, that judge was brutal to the people in traffic court. I was like, what's going on here? It was just a little moving violation. Why is he being so evil to the people? Well, he wasn't going to be evil to me. I went back outside. And that lawyer was smiling. I said, he said, you ready now? Yeah, I'm ready. Where I sign that? How much you need? Get out of here. I ain't doing all that. Get yourself a good lawyer. Let's go ahead and listen to this conference, y'all. Get your tea, get your coffee, people. We got to listen. 30 minutes.
What did they say? The details. Details are very important in time. So we start off with the location. And according to their complaint, after approximately 20 minutes, she arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway and a gate. There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist. There is no such location. We don't know whether they created a location in order to try to get jurisdiction in New York so they could bring this case in New York, or whether they just didn't do their homework. But any New Yorker knows there is no such location. Beyond that, this was supposed to have taken place at Mr. Combs' after party, according to them. When you look at the homes associated with Mr. Combs during that period of time, and even not during that period of time, none of them matches. He had a townhouse, he had a house in the Hamptons hours away, and he had homes in New Jersey, but not at that time. None of the homes work, the location doesn't work because this never happened. And again, when you really bear down on the location and his whereabouts, you quickly realize, because if there's photographic evidence and witnesses are coming forward, that Mr. Carter was at a commercial establishment after the VMAs. He wasn't at a house. Unfortunately for them, they needed to create this house in order to create the narrative. But he wasn't at a White House that did not exist. And this is a photograph of him at a location after the VMAs. So as we can continue through this, that Jane Doe does not say that the assault happened at a commercial establishment. She can't. That wouldn't make any sense. Yet they stand by it. They double down, they triple down. White House, the White House doesn't exist. And then we get to the witnesses. And I think at the outset, everybody has to remember that in 24 years, not a single witness has ever come forward saying this happened. Quarter of a century. Think about that. She says she's at the party alone, this 13-year-old girl, and she finds herself in the room with the three most famous people at the party. Just think about how unnatural, how little common sense that makes. And according to her, one of the witnesses is a female celebrity who's just standing there watching the repetitive rape of a child. That celebrity does nothing, says nothing, reports nothing. And in fact, they won't even identify her. According to them, there's an adult female in the room watching the rape of a child. They refuse to identify her. So then we continue, and you look and there's celebrities that she says she's mingling with before. Afterwards, she says she runs out of the house naked. None of them notice that. None of them pay any notice. For 24 years, none of them has said anything. And so she's just asked in this interview, she's asked, well, I mean, celebrities are recognizable people. Surely you can tell us one celebrity that was there. Just give us one name so that we know this happened. And she says, okay, Benji Madden was there. And she wants to conjure up religion and say, I'm religious. I remember his tattoo. She looks and remembers so vividly the tattoo and the conversation with Mr. Madden. Well, Mr. Madden wasn't there. He already said he wasn't there. His tour schedule said he wasn't there. And he wasn't there because this never happened. None of this ever happened. And you keep going and you ask yourself, well, who is this complaining witness? She does not come forward with her real name. She proceeds under Jane Doe. There's no report to the police. According to her, she never tells anybody for 24 years. Not one person, not alone in the car for 5 hours at home, on her way home. Not one person, not a diary, not a family member, not a friend. Most people, when this happens, there's a need to tell somebody. We call these prompt outcry witnesses. In most complaints like this, people tell somebody. She says nobody for 24, 25 years. And then we get to the details. And I want to make sure this is clear. When people make up an account, whether intentionally or their mind is playing tricks on them, they can always get that core part of the story right. They can just keep repeating it over and over and over again. This is what happened, that core part. But they're always going to mess up the details. When something isn't real, when something doesn't happen, you're going to get the details wrong because you weren't really there. And so she starts with her story about her friend that dropped her off. Okay? This drive of over 5 hours, the friend would have had to have gone 10 plus hours to drop her off because she's got to get there. If this is real, she's got to get there. But guess what? This friend of hers, she doesn't get out of the car, right? Think about that. She's just leaving a 13-year-old girl alone in Midtown. She doesn't even want to get out of the car. She came all that way. There can't be a witness there. She can't have a witness there because this never happened. So as you keep going, you ask yourself, but how did she end up in the car in the first place? And so she creates this story. She says, I snuck out the window, right? But now we know she came from Rochester. So she would have been sneaking out of the window at 3 p.m. in the middle of broad daylight. Never heard of such a thing, defies common sense, doesn't make any sense because this never happened. And so she tells this story because she's got to create a way that she gets out of the house and ends up in New York City. And as we keep going here, the friend that implausibly leaves her there, there's then some pressure on that part of the story because it doesn't make any sense. And so the lawyer is asked, well, just produce the friend. And so he has to find somebody that can make this work. And of course, as soon as he's pressed, they find somebody who they say is no longer alive. They can't corroborate it, and there's nobody to talk to. Okay, and if we could keep going. Next slide. So she then gets there, right? And she has this vivid tale of watching it on a Jumbotron. It's in her complaint. Clear as day. There was no Jumbotron that year. Okay? I don't know whether they were Googling images and found the wrong year. I don't know whether she's just making it up out of whole cloth. There is no Jumbotron. In fact, they didn't even get a permit, according to the police and the city, for the Jumbotron that year. So that didn't happen. None of the details are right because this never happened. If we can keep going. And then she says, I'm knocking on the doors and the windows of limousines and VIPs. Of course, that doesn't work either. If you look at the video, photographs, that whole area was blocked off. spoken to numerous people there that were in security. No one could have gotten anywhere near those cars because this never happened. She gets that fact wrong. And the whole story about, of all people, she knocks on Puff's window. 13-year-old girl in Midtown by herself. Just think about that. Think about how illogical that is. Keep going. Again, this is Eminem performing in the streets. No Jumbotron. All the cars barricaded. Her facts don't check out because this never happened. We keep going. So what ends up happening then, and this is important, is her original account in the original complaint says that at 9:30 or 10, she's told to wait there to get a ride to the after party. Okay? That also doesn't work because there's photographs now of Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter at commercial establishments in New York after the VMAs. So this narrative of at 10 o'clock she ends up at this party can't work. They got caught. So they change it in the amended complaint that there's this multiple drop-off and pickup that lands them at this White House that doesn't exist. So as we continue, this is again her account of trying to change the story into this multiple drop-off period to get them at the house to deal with the fact that there's photographic evidence that that's not where the after party was in the first place. And so as this account continues, you have to look at the timeline. You have to look at the timeline. So there's an old expression that time doesn't lie. Everything else that I'm talking about, these glaring inconsistencies, these are not minor inconsistencies. These are not minor problems with this story. This is utter falsehoods. Time never lies. And so if you look at the time, no matter what, this couldn't have happened. It's not even possible that this happened. And this is so important. So again, now that we know that it's a 5-hour drive in each direction, how she gets to the VMAs, okay, we're going to talk in some detail about this White House and whether or not they could have gotten there. And then again, Doe returns home to Rochester, okay? And this is very important. Because she returns home, she has to leave the New York area by 1:30 in the morning at the latest, okay? If you look at any of these White Houses and you look at the closest gas stations that could be to any of these White Houses, you have to leave this White House party by 12:45 in order to get to the gas station at 1:30 to call your father to pick you up to get home to Rochester at 6:30. So remember, she only has till 12:45 for everything that she says to have happened. The VMAs end at after 11. So you're talking about a window of a little more than an hour that this could possibly have happened even by their own account. And she says during that little bit more than an hour, not only does she get to the house, not only is she inside mingling with celebrities, she has a drink. She's then sexually assaulted in front of an adult female multiple times. She gets out of that. She fights through it. She leaves the house naked. She gets all the way to the gas station. She had 37 minutes to possibly do this. Okay, even under their account. Okay, and of course, the biggest problem perhaps of all is there's photographs putting Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at different places, not in a White House during that 37 minutes. So when I tell you that it's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened. So we talked about this 37 minutes. The earliest, even if we didn't have that establishments. Remember, this is innocence on top of innocence. Even if we didn't have that, according to her, the earliest they could have gotten to the house is 12:11. And the reason for that is if the VMAs end and the drive is 20 minutes, the driver has to go there, drop them off, come back, pick her up, bring her back. She can't get there. And again, this is lickety split. This is as fast as is possible, okay? This is no traffic leaving Radio City in Midtown during an awards ceremony. 12:11. She has to leave that white residence by 12:48 in order for her father to pick her up at the gas station. 37 minutes. That's the entire window of opportunity here. So here again is the timeline. Shows the 11:11 VMAs end, the drop off, the pickup, and the drop off. Next slide. And again, here we are. You see the 37 minutes. This is the 42 minutes it takes to walk. This is the closest gas station. And this is, remember this is a 13-year-old girl walking who has issues, who is maybe drugged according to her, who's just been viciously raped multiple times, who was holding her own clothing trying to get to a gas station that she had never been before. Okay? No map, no cell phone, no nothing. Straight line, it's 42 minutes. Okay? The story doesn't work, it doesn't check out. Okay? This never happened. Next slide. These are all the things that they claim happened in that 37 minutes. Okay? And again, 37 is giving them every benefit of the doubt as how long this window could be. Every benefit of the doubt. But here's an even bigger problem. There are photographs of Mr. Carter and Mr. Combs at commercial establishments during the 37 minutes. They're not there. Even if you try to come up with the fastest possible timeline, I'm talking about no traffic, nobody getting in your way at the door, right to the bar kind of timeline, it still doesn't work because they had to leave Radio City. They had to go to the commercial establishments. Mr. Combs is photographed at 2 different commercial establishments with Jennifer Lopez, 2 establishments. They had to go to both of those establishments and get back to the White House. Get back to the White House before she has to leave at 12:30. None of this can work. And in fact, and I think this is very important, you will notice in the photographs that Miss Lopez changes clothing between the 2 events that they go to in New York City. You can see in one photograph, she's wearing one outfit and another. So she had to be able to, in this 40-minute window, get to multiple events. They're seen drinking, socializing. She has to change outfits, change her hair, all within 40 minutes to get to that White House in time. And you're saying to yourself, so that's not possible. You're right, it's not possible. It's because this never happened. And then we get to the end. She kept running until she reached a gas station. A female clerk noticed her, allowed her to use the phone. Plaintiff called her father, admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts. And this is a very small thing, very small. But remember, when you leave house and you're 13, you have to have a story. You either have to sneak out and not have a lie, or you tell your parents a lie. Sort of 2 options, right? Earlier, she says, well, I didn't tell my parents a lie. I just snuck out the window, right? Here, she says, well, I lied. See, do you know what that means? That means she's lying even within her own story. They can't both be true. And I said earlier that no witnesses have come forward in basically a quarter of a century, except for one. Now there's one, her own father, the person who knows her best. And he came forward too. And he said, you know what? This never happened. This never happened. And his attention was drawn to it. I feel like I would remember that. And they said, but you've got a lot going on. Maybe you forgot this. You've got a lot going on. They told him, listen, you've got a lot going on. Try to see if they pressed him, if he stuck to his story. He said, yeah, I have a lot going on, but that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. Of course it would stick in your mind. You drove 10 hours to pick up your 13-year-old daughter in New York City. It's not something you would forget. It's not something that he did forget because this never happened. And of course, just like the friend that couldn't be there at the beginning, you can't have a witness to something that never happened. When asked, well, what did you say to your father in the car? What did you talk about? Nothing. She says not a word was spoken. There can't be a conversation because this never happened. And so you got to ask yourself what's going on here, right? And you all saw that videotape of her being interviewed in the shadowy room. She's holding a teddy bear. She's talking about her issues, her head trauma. She's been through a lot in her life, you can tell. And so who took advantage of this? Why are we here? Why is this story getting created? And I'll tell you who took advantage of this. This lawyer took advantage of this. That's what's going on here. And you can see here, now that this is starting to unravel and the truth is coming out, he's starting to walk away from it. He's saying, oh, sorry, this case was referred to our firm by another firm, so I didn't really check it out, is basically what he's saying, right? He brings an accusation like this, attacks a man with the integrity of Mr. Carter, and all he has to say for himself now is, well, I didn't really check on this. I got a referral, trying to make a little bit of money, So we just went live with it. Next. Here is again the timeline that he went live with. In the face of this irrefutable, time doesn't lie evidence, he went live with it. And again, it doesn't work. This 37 minutes, it does not work. It does not work because there's photographs. There's photographs. You can find them on the internet of them. They're changing clothes. She's changed clothes. Do you know how long that takes for her to go to 2 events, change clothes, get inside, have drinks, they're socializing. They're not popping into these events. To then get back out into the suburbs somewhere at a house that doesn't exist, it's not possible. Actually not possible. He is for sure innocent of this accusation. Next slide. But you know, this lawyer, he doesn't care about things like this. The only other person he's brought a complaint against for just mere association, merely being at a Sean Combs party, he's already been wrong about that one too. He had to change that one. If you look at the next slide, he got the year wrong. He said there was a party in the Hamptons. Mr. Combs was in Saint-Tropez at the time. Didn't check out. 2 claims, neither are checking out. We could keep going. And we have this, individuals calling my office, telling me story after story. And, I'm not going to get sidetracked. People think I'm going to start saying, explaining he's a grifter and all these things about him. I'm not here to talk about him more than I need to. But there's people calling the office saying, yeah, they were being pressured to say stuff, to say that they were with Mr. Combs. These are affidavits. They're filed in court. This is what you're dealing with here. Next slide. And so this is who took advantage of the woman in the shadowy video. He gives a press conference, 1-800 number, and he claims 2 days after posting that press conference, 2 days, that he has 120 fully vetted plaintiffs, 120. Anybody that does this for real, anyone that knows what they're doing, knows to corroborate, to interrogate, and to be sure about even one person takes weeks. One person. You've got to find out if their story makes sense. Did they really get dropped off? Does any of it check out? Is there corroboration? Are there any witnesses? It takes weeks for one. He had 120 in 2 days. When he files these cases, he doesn't even enter his notice of appearance. He just has some other lawyer file them. He holds these press conferences. He says, listen, anybody out there, just call the 1-800 number. If you can put yourself anywhere near a Sean Combs party at any point, we can go after the other celebrities there. We can make money together. Just call the 1-800 number. That's all you need to do. And then we'll send a letter to the celebrity. They're not going to want to have this in the public light. And they're going to be shaken down and they'll send us money. So he just called the number. And Mr. Carter said no. He said, that's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to put my foot down. And that's what he did. And I would urge any other celebrity that's being shaken down right now to do the same thing and to stand with truth. None of this ever happened. And what this 1-800 lawyer is doing, he's taking the justice away from this. He's destroying this opportunity and the voices of real victims. And it's got to end. So, are there any questions? Yes.
One question.
Sure.
So for the people that are calling your office, I'm assuming if it's not dismissed, like worst case scenario, and you guys move forward to try and show that everything you just told us, what evidence are you guys submitting other than the accounts they're giving you over the phone? Like, or do any of those people calling you have like emails between them and Buzbee or text conversations where they're encouraging this stuff? Yeah,
so let me divide that question into two if I can. We expect the case to be dismissed. If it's not, eventually this will all crumble because it can't possibly have happened mathematically. You don't even need witnesses. They don't have any witnesses because this never happened, and you don't need witnesses because the time doesn't work. There's literally photographic evidence that proves that this could not have happened. In terms of what's going to happen to Mr. Buzbee for this racket and everything else going on, time will tell. But this is how things unravel. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who is Lex Intelligence, and has your firm ever hired them in connection with Tony Buzbee to investigate Tony Buzbee as he's alleged?
I don't know that firm, don't know those people, and the answer is no.
So this might just be an extension of the first question, but you said that there were people calling saying they were being pressured to say that they were with Mr. Combs. Can you elaborate on that, please? Are they calling you to say that they're being pressured?
Yeah, there was a witness that came forward that contacted my office and submitted an affidavit in court regarding this that accounted for what occurred on that day, which was they called the Buzbee firm. They said they had an inquiry the inquiry had nothing to do with Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter, or any of this. And the people at the Buzbee firm said, well, why don't we try to push this in the direction of the Combs case? That's a better decision in sum and substance. That's a better way to go here. This individual refused to do that, contacted my office and signed them, and then an affidavit was submitted to court. Yes?
You mentioned the letters that Buzbee's been sending out to unnamed celebrities in relation to these Combs lawsuits. What were your interactions on behalf of Mr. Carter before he was renamed in the amended complaint?
Well, after the letter was received, we obviously knew this was completely false and we weren't going to be shaken down. So the efforts were nothing because there was nothing to discuss in any meaningful way.
Do you know who the Jane Doe is, like her actual identity? Has there been like research into that on your end?
Yeah, because it's a fair question. Because she's been blacked out in the video and because a court has not unmasked her in court, I'm not going to get into her identity. You will notice that I did not get into some of her issues. I don't want to. It's really sad in many respects, and I don't want to get into that. So I'm not going to unmask her here today.
Has the accuser tried to reach out to Mr. Carter before, or any of his camp or anyone?
Not to my knowledge. Yes.
Buzbee indicated that there was a second alleged victim. Has he given any notice that he's pursuing that claim still?
No, and I would hope not after what's going on here. Yes.
You mentioned in your recent filing on this docket that you were intending to file a motion to dismiss. What's the timeline on that? Are you working on that?
Yeah, so we did file a motion to dismiss the day after this was filed.
Right.
The Rule 11 letter, which basically says that a lawyer is not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to not vet a claim and file a false claim in court, or it needs to come down. The way that works, and it's a little technical, is that the court has to allow you to file faster than you should otherwise be allowed to file. So we are hopeful that the court will respond today and we will file that. If not, there are other things that we're going to do to bring the truth to light. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Are there any witnesses who will be corroborating Mr. Carter's testimony that he was not there that night? Or is that sort of what you're hinting at, that if necessary, you will provide those people?
Yeah, I mean, it's like asking to corroborate something that never happened. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of people that are going to say there was no party at the White House, that put all of these celebrities where they're already put in photographs in different places, not at a White House. Remember, according to her, all three of these people, I mean, you all have seen the photographs. I mean, on the internet, I just showed you some. All three of these people would have had to have been at this White House together, alone in a room. Just think about that. Alone in a room with this 13-year-old girl at exactly the time that they're at commercial establishments. So I mean, there's no proof better than time. But of course, there are going to be people that are going to say that they were all out that night and nowhere near a White House, and they went to an after party at a commercial establishment. And this is all fantasy.
If this case is dismissed after that, or you guys have decided indefinitely to file anything in addition, like an information lawsuit?
This issue with a lawyer taking advantage of the situation is going to be dealt with. I can assure you. And I think sort of stay tuned. I think the first thing today was to make sure that everybody understands this is not an account of inconsistencies. I wanted everybody to understand that this never happened. This is completely false. And then we'll move forward from there. Yes.
What is Mr. Carter's account of that night? Does he say he was at multiple locations, just that nightclub, Lotus nightclub that he was photographed at?
Yeah, so I'm not going to get into sort of privileged communications and talk too much about that, but I will say that he was not at any house or any location. They were in New York City. They were at commercial establishments with lots of people around. This is obviously completely false.
How's Mr. Carter feeling?
He's upset. He's upset that somebody would be allowed to do this. They would make a mockery of the system like this. He's upset that this distracts and dissuades real victims from coming forward. He's upset that his kids and his family have to deal with this. He's upset. They should be upset.
Is your firm investigating Buzbee, talking to people around him as he's alleged in some of his legal suit against Tony Emanuel?
Yeah, that suit went nowhere, as you saw. And what happens when people bring frivolous cases and run rackets like this is, of course, we're asking questions. I've got people contacting my office telling me chapter and verse about him. So we don't shut off the phone lines. I'm listening because I'm trying to figure out how this is allowed to proceed like this. Yes.
He posted a photo on his Instagram of 3 men at a door of his client, suggesting that investigators came and said that they would pay $1,000 for plaintiffs to file a suit against him. I mean, do you have any connection to those men that he photographed? Do those men have any connection to Quinn Emanuel?
Zero. Okay, I don't know whether it's completely false or not, but zero connection to those people. Have no idea what that is. Don't know whether he made it up out of whole cloth. Don't know if he's trying to distract from what he's under now. But no, there's no truth to that. Anything else?
Right. Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate the two of them, he didn't really in his statement specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say. Yes.
In the original filing before it was amended, and even after, there was a second, the woman celebrity that even chose in the room. That woman celebrity, whoever that is, has there been any other people that may have been with Mr. Carter or even Puff that night that I reached out to you guys just wanting to know what is happening, just so that they can prepare for kind of even a fight back like Jay-Z is for him?
Well, we know other celebrities have received letters, and we've spoken to other celebrities that were there that night that say this is what they know about this. This makes no sense, couldn't have happened because they were all at a commercial establishment. So I hope that answers your question. Yes.
Was there a specific amount of money or something specific that was demanded of Mr. Carter in this demand letter that was sent to you before the complaint was filed?
There isn't a specific number that has been demanded.
But did they specifically ask for money?
In the demand letter, what did?
Yeah. So I've been asked this question before. People like this, they don't send demand letters out to not get money. That's all they want. Okay. This is not for truth and justice. This is for money. So the request was to sit down and talk about a way to resolve this matter, and we all know what that means. Yes.
Do you have any plans to release the demand letter?
Not as I stand here today. I'm more concerned with making sure that everybody knows this didn't happen. I know there's a lot of questions about this lawyer and who's after him and how much wrong has he done and these questions, and I totally understand that and respect those questions, but we'll turn to that later. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all very much for your time.
Woo! Oh! Now that's a lawyer, people. Y'all saw how it was done. I give my comments at the end. Tay, your thoughts? Yes, job well done, Alex. Bravo to Alex. Bravo. Give him his props in the chat. Go ahead, Tay.
Well, he break it down by piece for all that evidence right there. That's a lawyer right there you need right there. Call him. That's all, Diva.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Oh my, good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's doing really well. You know, I'm overwhelmed with all the intel. Do I have this right? They looked at all the houses that had a gas station next to it? Is that what they did?
No. He looked at all the houses Diddy owned at the time. I don't know. I would have to go back. Now you got me thinking. I'm not sure, but either way, he made sense, right? You 13, this ain't no cell phone time, and you walked and found the gas station that was open, naked and afraid with your clothes in your hand. Stop.
I mean, he was so thorough.
Mm-hmm.
The photographs, no jumbotron, no cars outside, no, you couldn't get through, and gave her 37 minutes to say all that happened to her happened because she had to get home. Wow, wow, wow. But I really got to say before I go, I was really annoyed by how they amended the complaint to answer the discrepancies that were first brought up. So maybe they're going to amend the complaint again to answer to the gaps that he had shown us here on yesterday. But thank you, Diva. I enjoyed it. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Listen, not only did they, you know what they didn't mention? After she called her dad, she would have had to have waited hours at the gas station for him to get there to pick her up. Hours. And so after a gas station attendant saw a distressed 18-year-old, she allowed 13-year-old, let me back that up, 13-year-old. She allowed this 13-year-old to sit at the gas station for hours waiting for the father, and the gas attendant didn't think, oh, I'm gonna call the cops. This girl been sitting here too long. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, he definitely did his homework. But you know, the sad part about it is that when people make accusations and accuse you of things like that, it's out there. It tarnishes your reputation.
Yeah.
I know he'll get it back, you know, but the mere fact that somebody, the lawyer would, that's almost like abuse, because he didn't want to get into it, but it sounds like, you know, Buzbee found this girl, maybe she's on the spectrum or something like that, and used her and got her to tell that story. You know, but I hope Jay-Z go all the way, take him all the way to get his money out the bank. I hope he sues him till he ain't got no more money. I know it won't fix his reputation or whatever. I mean, will untarnish it. Time will, but I hope he gets it, and that'll because this is not Tony Buzbee's first rodeo. I mean, this happening a lot. I mean, who solicits for clients? Like I said the other night, he sounded like one of those class action lawyers. You know, call me if you've been at a Diddy party, if you was near a Diddy party, if you was across the street from a Diddy party, call me. And that's pretty much what he did. So I'm glad Jay-Z's getting justice, but I mean, to break it down like that, how could you not think he's innocent? You know, the truth. I mean, it was there. That's it.
I appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
He was thorough. And did you see how they asked him that one question? He was just like, oh, I don't know. Zip, yep, yada. No, the answer is no. Bye. I was like, ooh, he's a rare form. He did not come to play. And this is what I mean by clapping back at accusations. He had a play-by-play. This is what I mean by hiring a lawyer that didn't come to play. And he's like, oh, you say my client is guilty? Oh, okay, we'll see about that.
Thank you, Julius. Leo, your thoughts?
Wow, you know what? It's a lot of predatory behavior going on with this particular case. I feel like Tony Buzbee did prey upon this woman and her difficulties. I feel like this particular woman at the time, as a young girl, I think she has been preyed upon. I think she has been violated. I think things has happened to her in her life because of her being on the spectrum. I don't doubt that she's been taken advantage of. The problem comes into when she spoke her claim to Tony Buzbee and dropped these names in of very famous celebrities. I think that Tony Buzbee took it and ran with it. And so what I can appreciate is the thoroughness of this particular attorney, Alex Shapiro, for hunting down the loopholes, because I already felt like, or from the information that I was given, that this particular dog wouldn't hunt. Like, it was so many holes in the story that I didn't see how this would progress in a way that what Tony Buzbee would want it to do, because he did demand, it was a demand letter sent to Jay-Z and his team for mediation, but it also had monies that was involved. And I don't doubt that monies was involved. And that's when the tide turned. That's when the tide turned for Jay-Z. You're not getting ready to get no money from me for something that I did not do.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say this on the train and on your channel, Diva. It might have been some unscrupulous things that has happened in the 90s area that you probably could have caught Jay-Z up on. But this one here, he said mother fathers will not catch me on this one because I ain't got nothing to do with that. And he get ready to shut all them down. The power of the money is coming in on this story to block all other stories. You see what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got it on me on this one. So I'm getting ready to fight tooth and nail on this one. And Tony Buzbee underestimated the power of the truth, right? He underestimated.
Wait, Leo, he
That's
said,
right.
Don't lie. Oh, come on.
Yep. He underestimated the power of the truth, and meaning that, okay, y'all didn't catch me. Like Jay-Z said, y'all didn't catch me on the one I did do, but y'all caught me on the wrong one. And I'm getting ready to get all of y'all for trying me. For trying me. I'm not paying y'all no money. I'm not doing any of that. We can go public. I will gird my family and my children for this one, because this one you ain't got. And I'm going to go ahead on and nail all of y'all so y'all won't come for me for the others. And I'm not saying he did anything violent to anybody. Only thing I'm saying is questionable behavior happened in the 90s. But they didn't catch him on the right one. They caught him on the wrong one. And so now he's getting ready to he drew his line in the sand where it was at, and he going to take all his coins and he is going to destroy Tony Buzbee. To let all y'all mofos in the back row know. When I come for you, I'm going to cut your whole head off.
Ooh, child. Oh, my gosh.
That's what I feel. That's what I feel. That's what's really going on here. They caught the wrong one. They caught the wrong one with this particular young lady's claims. So like I say, I don't doubt that she's been violated. I can really tell she has suffered traumatic abuse. But these particular people that she put to it, it's not plugging the holes for me. The dots don't connect. And I pray for her, and I pray for her mental stability, that she's been used by Tony Buzbee. But Tony Buzbee going down in the name of Jay-Z, because he messed with the wrong one on this one.
Ooh.
That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Where am I at? Katrina, your thoughts?
I don't know if I can touch the mic. Leo left it so hot. What I'm thinking is this girl put herself in that place of that girl, what I told you about, Diva, that said that she was at that party, didn't invite her to a party. Said she bumped her, hit her head. Then she said she had head trauma or something, the reason why she had to get out the military. And for him not to he said he got her case from somebody else, but you didn't go along and you didn't talk to this person before you took on this case, before you let her went on TV and make these accusations and make sure your eyes wasn't, I mean, your T's wasn't crossed and your eyes wasn't dotted. You put yourself out there like that, and you trying to sue all these millionaires, billionaires. And like Leo said, he might not got caught on the other ones, but this girl right here, she didn't come with the facts, and he didn't do his investigation. He didn't hire, I guess, his paralegals, his partners, or whatsoever. I don't know if he got a law firm with other lawyers, but I know Gunty well they want him out that firm by now. And I think he should be able. I think he should pay that girl off. I think he should pay for her mental. I think he should pay her instead of Jay-Z suing her. I think she should sue Tony for putting her through this mental distress, because you told this girl to go out and do this. You allowed this girl to go out and do this. You took on this case. And I think that he should have to pay for her stress, because she did what he asked her to do, which I know he said he got her case from somebody else. But man, listen to her for 3-5 minutes, you know something wasn't right. And you still put her out there that way. I think he should pay her too. As a matter of fact, she going on TV saying all this, doing all this, and you put her out there like that. You put her out there like that. So I think he should have to pay for her mental distress as well as Jay-Z's. Tony Buzbee, man, you better go to Bali and get out of here, because you finna get it. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Well, you can tell the ones that he's guilty for, because he don't talk about the ones he guilty of, i.e. his son that he don't want to claim, don't want to take the DNA test for. But he fighting her tooth and nail, so I believe he might be innocent on this one. I think it's sad that we have people that's out here thinking that this is a money grab situation. There's real victims out there. It's sad, it's disgusting, and it's wrong.
It is, but you know what though? Alex is on the job. So let me give my thoughts before we close out. My thoughts is Tony Buzbee. Well, let me back up a little bit. You know, Damien, the prosecutor that resigned early before Trump came into office, with this whole Diddy thing, he messed up from the door, in my opinion, right? Diva thoughts here. He messed up from the door. But I had said it early on that their case wasn't so airtight as everybody thought it was and as they was claiming it to be. And it wasn't because they took forever to come arrest him after they invaded his homes in March. And then when they put out the indictment against him, their top number one person who was the basis of the case was Cassie. And so if this man has violated, I don't know what Diddy did or did not do. All I'm saying is if he has violated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, when that indictment came out, it should have had victim 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from the Southern District of New York. But instead, in my mind, what they did was they called a whole bunch of lawyers asking for help, aka Tony Buzbee, aka Gloria Allred, aka Lisa Bloom. And then that's when they threw a whole bunch of shenanigans in the game. Gloria Allred, Thalia Grace, where is she? 2 days after they did that press conference, she got debunked with her lies. Because she brought in that Big Joe, the security guard, and God bless him, because he's doesn't even have a big name like Jay-Z. But he was another one that said he was not having it. He said, not my good name. He wasn't having it. He done wrote a book. He done exposed Thalia texts. And Thalia wanted him to lie on Jay-Z. She said, me and my lawyers will keep your name out of it if you help us lie on not Jay-Z, on Diddy. Yeah, where's Ariel Mitchell, kid? Where is she? We had that Courtney Burgess. He claimed he had all of these freak off tapes. And then when the feds called him down to New York, he rolled the train backwards. I didn't really see it. I didn't have it. And he was doing interviews too, talking about there was minors in the videos that he never saw with his own eyes. Come on, Alex. He said time tells the truth. Time tells the truth. So then you got Tony Buzbee with all these clients that a whole nother lawyer, not Diva, a whole nother lawyer said, who vets somebody out in 2 days? 120 clients. He said it take longer to do one client. So now Tony is walking it back, talking about he didn't really vet the client. He got the client from somebody else. Yeah, her timeline doesn't add up. And then people want to run with, oh, she just got the year wrong, 2003. You talking about somebody's life and their character. That's 3 whole years. But even if for 2.2 seconds we wanted to give her this 3 years, so then she goes from 13 to 16 or 17. But let's be clear. Who gets to walk up to limos of the celebrities? Like Alex said. But I think the struggle is, and I'm waiting to see if the judge throw this case out. The judge got over the job. And you want to know why? Because the minute you throw out a case that Buzbee has brought forth that has both Jay-Z and Diddy name in it, you can't say I'm throwing it out for Jay-Z and not for Diddy. But then you got this man who has 20 cases against Diddy. I promise you this, the minute that judge throws out that case that Tony brought that has Diddy and Jay-Z connected, Diddy's lawyers, unless they are dumb, are going to go to the judge in every single Buzbee case that he has against Diddy. They're going to ask the judge, throw it out. Buzbee appears to be like a fraud. And once that case gets thrown out, it's going to open the floodgates. And now perhaps, I'm saying perhaps, every person that is filing these lawsuits now, they are going to be scrutinized to the 10th power because of Buzbee. So every real victim, blame Buzbee. Because now you're going to have a hell of a time even getting a lawyer to perhaps take your case, even if it is true, because now they're going to know that the court is going to look at that thing with a fine-tooth comb. And you better have dates, time, places, people, and everything 100% correct, or you're going to get slaughtered. Slaughtered.
As they should, though, Diva. As they should.
They should. Listen, they're going to get slaughtered. But I will say this. There's some real victims where things has happened to you and you remember most and maybe not every single detail. But now because of Buzbee, you're going to be screwed. You're going to be screwed. Because they're going to give you the side eye if you don't have all of your ducks in a row. But thanks, Tony, the 1-800 lawyer, the ambulance chaser, the one they said that wears the cheap suits, because you were so darn greedy. And listen, I was telling people from the beginning, whatever Diddy did, let him go down for what he did. But even lying on Diddy is deplorable. Lying on Diddy is just as wrong as lying on Jay-Z. And I know people can't stand him because they saw the video of him putting his hands on Cassie, which, let's be clear, 100% dead wrong. But just because he was dead wrong on that doesn't mean that it's right for people to be lying on him. Because if Jay-Z wasn't at no White House, neither was Diddy, because the White House, like the lawyer said, it didn't even exist. And then the houses that Diddy had at the time, the Alex looked up and said it wasn't even gated communities. Yeah, 1-800-TONY Buzbee is screwed. If the timeline don't fit, you must quit. Listen, people, I appreciate y'all for hanging out and watching that 30 minutes with me. We did this thing together. Alex did an amazing job. I'm telling you right now, if anything ever happened to me, I'm going to call up Quinn Emanuel. I'll be like, just give me the person that just started in the firm. I don't give a darn. Y'all going to help me out because they not playing no games over there. They doing law. That's law at its finest. And I'm going to give it up to Alex because he did the darn thing. Bravo. Bravo. He said this didn't happen. He don't want to hear nothing else. He said, listen, this didn't happen. They was like, well, are you going to call witnesses? He said it didn't happen. He said she didn't have a conversation with her dad because this never happened. And think about it, people. She sat at the gas station, on the curb, inside, waiting for her dad, and they didn't call saying, oh my God, this 13-year-old is sitting here for 5-6 hours. It don't make sense. But listen, yeah, and she's been on national TV as a shadow, right? Child, it's a mess. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. We were working. I'm working, people. Hit the like button. I thank y'all for being here. I'll see you next time. Good night. Goodbye, everybody.
Do not cheat that you always try.